One of our main goals of this webinar is that you leave here today with a better understanding of how to foster a culture of innovation, cultivate ideas, challenge assumptions, and create solutions. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Well, first I have a question for you all to reflect upon. Think about in your day-to-day work, how many of you would say innovation drives your work? Do you feel like this is somewhat of a trick question? Well, it's not meant to be a trick question, although most nurses don't usually answer it with a confident yes. More often than not, when a nurse is talking about what drives his or her work, they say something like their passion to care for others. After all, isn't that why most of us get into this profession? We want to help, we want to heal, clearly we want to make a difference, and we want to bring hope and health to those who need it. And we do whatever it takes to care for those that we serve. So take a moment and think about this past week. How many roadblocks did you face at work? Think about what were they? How did these challenges affect your patients? How did they affect the caregivers on your team? How did they affect you? And more importantly, what did you do to overcome them? Every day we are faced with tough situations and we have to work through them. The critical and creative thinking that we all do on the job is our innovation instinct coming through, and often marks the first steps in bringing innovation to life. We act, we react, we change the game plan, we try something we've never tried before, we revise our approach. We innovate so that we can deliver the high-quality patient-centered care we all strive to achieve. So whether you recognize it or not, innovation does drive your work. And through nursing innovation, we enhance our ability to work smarter, not what? Harder. That's right. That is probably the most common professional goal we all have in common, is working smarter and not harder. From optimizing patient care to improving safety and patient outcomes, or simply creating efficiencies in day-to-day responsibilities, nursing innovation gives us the tools needed to work smarter. Additionally, innovation doesn't just drive our individual work, it drives the work of the entire healthcare team and the nursing organization. It truly is a highly important part of our professional responsibility, and all nurses can and should be innovators. No matter your title or position, you can take your ideas, your problems, or your concerns and turn them into solutions through the innovation process. Similarly, I mentioned earlier about our hope that you will all work to become innovation leaders. Being a leader in innovation doesn't always require a formal title or a job description. It can easily be in an informal role in which you advocate for, support, and encourage nursing innovation. In every meeting, at every team huddle, in all facets of our profession. We need to encourage our colleagues to bring their ideas forward, even if others think the idea is a crazy one or no one believes it will actually work. You never know. It just might be the best thing since colored IV tubing, safe patient handling technology, virtual sitters, the latest patient assessment app, or sliced bread. Any incoming idea is potentially worthy and important. Even if it turns out that it can't be moved forward in its current state, that doesn't mean it won't potentially open a door to something bigger and better. Innovation has become an incredible part of the nursing profession, and I am thrilled you could join us today. So I just gave an overview of using innovation as a way to increase a healthcare center's influence and impact. So Nancy, can you provide an example of an innovation that we've moved forward?
Let me just explain that innovations can come in many shapes and forms. They can be products, they could be gadgets, it could be information technology, which is very popular these days. It could be delivery solutions that may be algorithms or processes in life science.
Nancy, it's one thing for healthcare organizations to place the importance on innovation, right? And it's another to bring it to life.
Yeah.
Can you share a little bit about our Office of Innovation here?
Yes, our Office of Innovation has been a growing phenomena. It involves both structure and networks. So from a structure standpoint, we have a bundling of programs. We offer education to nurses, we have programs to encourage submission of new ideas, and we have a recognition and award component. So when we think about innovations, the network component is working with our Cleveland Clinic Innovations, so we do have some structure to that element as well. One of the things we've learned over time, or actually two things we've learned over time, one is that nurses are not risk takers. They're actually risk averse. And I think part of it is because over time nurses learn that failure is bad. They have to have high quality care. They need to be good in everything they do. And so nurses are not trained to fail. We like to say fail fast, fail often, and move on. We also know that nurse managers have very complex, busy roles. And if a nurse comes up to them and says, I have an idea, that oftentimes what will happen is the nurse manager may have many thoughts going through their head. Things like, oh, I'm too busy for this, or been there, done that, or it'll cost too much, or I don't even know who to talk to bring this idea forward, or it'll take forever to implement. So our program eliminates, or maybe I should say bypasses, the nurse manager. We want nurse managers to be excited that their teams are bringing forward ideas, and then we want those ideas to be sent to the Nursing Innovation Center, where we have a team who could help bring that innovation forward. We have a portal on our website that allows nurses to submit innovations, and then we can really help bring it into motion over time. And if it's going to be commercializable, we work with our Cleveland Clinic Innovations team.
So that's great. So a nurse has an idea, he or she submits it through the portal, then what happens?
So once a nurse submits an idea through the portal, we take a look at it on our team, and we look to see if indeed the idea is really novel and has value. So those are the two key ingredients, novelty and value. And it may be that we go to Google and try to explore for redundancy. If we find out it really is novel, then we have to figure out what is the value? What is the value proposition? And we will work to cultivate that idea and submit it to our Cleveland Clinic Innovations. We want to make sure there's enough novelty, even if it's an improvement on something that's already come about, so that we can really help that nurse move it forward.
Sounds like a solid structure.
Yes.
So what are some take-home messages, if you will, for the audience as it relates to innovation?
Yeah, with innovation, we have to remember that it's a process. It's definitely not a one and done. And so people need to understand it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. They have to be in it for the long haul. We need nurses who come up with ideas to be really passionate about the idea, because it's probably going to change over time. They have to be resilient when people tell them maybe it's not going to work this way, and instead of just setting it aside and saying, oh well, we really want them to retool that idea to make it better. So passion is important, resiliency is important, and they have to be in charge of that. They have to be the stakeholders, so they need to be the ones that really help everybody understand its benefit, and they have to be willing to keep at it until we could bring it forward.
Well, thanks, Nancy. This concludes our time together for today. We'd like to thank you for your time and attention to this webinar, where you've explored practical ways to implement innovative nursing practices into your organizations.